So if I take a look at 41, all right, the directions for 41 are write a proportion or an equation to find the answer. All right, so for 41, I have what is 0.2% of 900. You guys, I think every single one of you use proportions for all of these. All right, you have to be able to use the percent sentence and the percent equation. You have to. All right, so on your test, I will say, using the percent equation, solve this problem. You have to be able to use that percent equation. All right, so I'm going to set both of these up. If you did not do the percent equation, you are doing this now. If you only did one of them, you're doing the other one. I want you to know how to do them. So let's take a look at the proportion, and then we'll do our percent equation. All of you are writing something down now because not all of you did both. You weren't supposed to do both, all right, but I need you to know how to do both. Our proportion is always going to be our percent fraction set equal to our numbers fraction. And that's always your is over your of. All right, well, the percent is always by itself. So here's our percent. Here is our of information. So our is information is what's missing. So if I write our numbers fraction, it's going to be x over 900. All right? Now our percent fraction, if I have 0.2%, what is 0.2% as a decimal? What is 0.2% as a decimal? Because it's not 0.2. What is 0.2% as a decimal? Colin?
0.00.
Yeah, I need to move that decimal 2 places to the right. So this is going to be if I was making it into a fraction. Sorry, if I was making it a decimal. If I wrote this as a fraction, it's 0.2 over 100. And I'm going to use that column when I do my percent equation. So I was too quick in asking that question. This should be what our fraction looks like. It's kind of funky looking, isn't it? All right, whatever our percentage is, I take that exact number and I just put it over 100. And now I do my cross multiplication. So I have 0.2 times 900 is equal to 100x. All right, you guys all have a calculator. All right, I am expecting you to use it. So if I have 0.2 times 900, I end up with 180 is equal to 100x. Divide each side by 100. And x is equal to 1.8. Blythe, does that help you? All right. Somebody write my percent equation. I'm just going to rewrite this. What is 0.2% of 900? Somebody write this out for me. All right, I prefer that we write it in the proper format. So I'm going to do 0.2% of 900 is what number? I want that in the proper order. Somebody write my equation for me. Serena? It can't be 0.2. I need to turn it into either a fraction or a decimal. A decimal is probably best. So move that decimal 2 places to the right. Excellent. No. Okay, so when we have a percentage in math, to use it in math, we either change it into a decimal by moving the decimal 2 places to the left, or we change it into a fraction by literally just taking the number in front of the percentage symbol, putting it in our numerator, and 100 goes in our denominator. Not both. So Serena, here we changed our percentage into its decimal form. So it simply just is 0.002. Do you understand? Okay, what does of mean? Times, so times. Keep going. There you go. And when I do that multiplication, I should get x is equal to 1.8. All right, what else can I do for you guys? All right, well, let's do a story problem. So let's take a look at, we had number 19. I want everyone to take a look at number 19. All right, if I take a look at number 19 said Teresa worked 18 hours as a volunteer. So she has volunteer hours are 18 hours. Then it says this represents 60%, so this is 60% of school requirements. All right, we want to find the school requirements. Your percent sentence is not your given. These are the givens. Now somebody write a percent. Chris, sit up and pay attention to what we're doing, all the way. Somebody write my percent sentence for me. And you all should have a pen in your hand writing this down if you didn't have it, because it's required. It's a story problem. What is my percent sentence? Ashton? Excellent. Of total service hours is daycare service hours. Something like that. That is a proper percent sentence. The only numbers in it is your percentage. All right. Somebody write a proportion for me for that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some information on it. I know that the volunteer hours were 18 at the daycare center, so I'm going to write that above there. What I'm missing is my total. I'm just going to write that below there, just so I can identify where stuff goes. Somebody write my proportion for me. Jacob? Yep, because it's is over of. My is information is 18. My of information is my x. All right. Somebody write my equation. Somebody write the equation from that sentence. Come on, you guys. Jake, if you want to try it. So drop everything straight down. Yep. Yeah. I really feel like the percent equation, once you have that percent sentence, the percent equation is easier because everything just drops straight down. All right, and now we're going to solve these. So I have 18 times 100 is equal to 60x. I have 1800 is equal to 60x. Divide each side by 60, and x is equal to, I believe it's 30. All right, here I'm just going to divide everything by 0.6, and I should still get x is equal to 30. So I'm going to say 30, the school requirements. The school requires 30 service hours. That's what I should see. For all story problems, I have to see your percent sentence with no numbers in it at all except for your percentage if you have it. You can put the numbers in, the information in above or below it. You have to be able to set up an equation and a proportion. All right, put this away, get your notes out. All right, you guys need your calculators. So while you're getting your notes out, go get your calculators. As long as it still comes on, just hit clear. Once the battery's died, come give it to me. Just hit clear and should clear out. All right, we're practicing some more of these story problems. numbers that, excuse me? Does anybody have 13? It was there, wasn't it?
No.
What number are you supposed to have? Okay, Andrew, you got to get your own. Okay, you guys should have your own calculators. You just don't take any calculator. All right, today is the 6th of January. We are still in 4.3, so 4.3 continued. We're going to work more on our percent equation. So in tonight's homework, you have to use the percent equation. So let's review again what that means. All right. What operation goes with of? What operation goes with of? Matthew? That's multiplication. What operation goes with is? Come on, what operation goes with is? Ladies, the men are like totally outdoing you today. What operation goes with is? Serena, that's our equal sign. All right, so if I give you what percent of 170 is 68. All right, you have to use the percent equation tonight for your homework. You have to. You may not use proportions. All right, we definitely want a proper percent sentence. So I'm going to write proper percent sentence. What that means is I have percent of, and whatever information is whatever information. That is a proper percent sentence. And here we did write that properly. All right, so let's solve this problem. What percent of 170 is 68? Somebody write my percent equation for me from that sentence. Peter? Excellent. Now if you notice, I'm going to put a little note here. The percent is missing. All right, I want you guys to write this down because this is different than for proportions. We used a variable to represent the percent, comma. So our answer will be the percent in decimal form. Colin, you're writing everything I'm writing, you're writing. So your notes should be what my notes are. All of your notes should be. All of you should be writing what I'm writing. All right, so it says the percent is missing. We used a variable to represent the percent. So our answer will be the percent in decimal form. All right, so all of you solve this. I have 170x is equal to 68. Finish solving this, please, and tell me what you get for x. So you guys have your calculators. What do you get for x? What do you got? 2.5? Nope. You put in 170 divided by 68. What does this say? What does this 68 divided by 170? Kaylee, what's 68 divided by 170? 0.4. Yep. So I get 0.4. That answer is the decimal form of the percent. How do I turn that into a percent? What do I have to do mathematically to turn that into an actual percent, if that's the decimal form? Sam, what do I have to do? Why? How do you know that? What did you do mathematically to turn it into a percent? What did you do in your head? Not times 10. Times 10 would give me 4. Yeah, I need to multiply by 100. So if I multiply by 100, that moves my decimal 2 places to the right. All right, multiplying by 100 moves the decimal 2 places to the right. So we end up with 40%. All right, I want you guys to do another one like that. Who needs to see what's up there? So I'm going to write this problem down. Who needs to see what's up there? Okay, I want you guys to do this problem. The percent is not always what's going to be missing, all right, but I wanted to focus on some of the percent problems, because the percent ones that are, when the percent are missing, there's a little bit more that we need to do. So all of you solve this, please. You have to use the percent equation. Okay, so why don't you give it to me and just go grab another calculator? Just set it on the desk and I'll put new batteries in it. Thank you, sir. Okay, somebody write my equation for me. Ava? Okay, what am I going to do to solve it? Excellent. So what do you get for your x? So it was 135. What's wrong with that one? It won't turn on? Put it on my desk. Grab 3. Let's see if 3 will work. Is 135 divided by 90, is that 1.5 actually? What? It is. So this is but remember, what's missing? Is a percent missing or just a random number missing? So this is the decimal form of the percent. Because we just represented our x with our percent with an x, right? So if that's the decimal form of the percent, how do I turn that into a percent? Yeah, I multiply by 100 to move the decimal. So our actual percent is 150%. Why does that make sense? It goes back to what our is information is always and what our of information is always. What is our is information always? If we wrote this as a proportion, it would be x over 100 is equal to 135 over 90. What is our is information always in a fraction? Peter? No. The is information in a fraction. So when we use proportions, our is information is our numerator, our of information is our denominator. In a fraction, what is our numerator always? Is it a part or a whole? In a fraction, our numerator, is that always a part or is that always a whole when we're talking about a fraction? So if I have 1/2, I have 1 out of the 2. If I have 2/3, I have 2 out of the 3. What is my numerator always? It's a part. This is our part. Our 90 is the whole. So why does it make sense that our percentage, that 135 is 150% of 90? Why does that make sense? Charlotte? Yeah, because our part is bigger than our whole. It's more than 100% of our whole. How many of you guys can see that? Okay. All right, let's talk about estimating percents. All right, when we are estimating percents, what we want to do is we want to round our percent to a fraction or a percent that allows for mental math. So I shouldn't have to use my calculator at all. All right, let's figure out what I'm talking about with that. All right, I'm going to give us a story problem, and we're going to use estimating, we're going to practice estimating using this story problem. All right, so here's my example. All right, in 1997, total milk production, you're writing this down, milk production was 156 billion pounds. So in 1997, total milk production was 156 billion pounds. In the Midwest states, production was 25.2% of this total. So you can kind of see our percent sentence already starting. Estimate the amount of milk produced in the Midwest states. Now, if they just said find the amount of milk, we would use 25.2% exactly. All right, but they're saying estimate. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start using that exact percentage, but then we're going to actually estimate and change that percentage to a fraction where we can do mental math. All right, let's start with our percent sentence. 25.2% of total milk production is amount in Midwest states. So there's my percent sentence. 25.2% of total milk production is the amount in the Midwest states. I don't know the amount in the Midwest states. There is my X. What was our total milk production in the whole, like all of it in the country? Kaylee? Yep, we have 156 billion. I'm just going to use 156, not the whole billion. All right, so if I wrote this out, I have my percentage times 156 equals X. What fraction is 25.2 close to? And what I'd like it to be is that I can, when I multiply it, it's easy for me to multiply that by 156. What fraction is 25.2 close to? Ashton? No, like 25%. Isn't this close to 25%? 1/4. Isn't this about 1/4? How many of you guys agree that 25.2% is about 1/4? How many of you guys agree with that? All right, so I'm going to say 1/4 times 156 is equal to x. All right, well, that is math I can do very quickly. All right, 156 divided by 4, that is divisible by that. So that's going to end up being, so 156 divided by 4, that's going to be 3. That's 36, that's 9. So x is equal to 39 billion gallons, or pounds. So we estimated what 25.2% would be as a fraction. All right, let me ask you guys, before I have you guys get going, who needs to see what's up there? All right, so let's look at different percentages. All right, what is 30% as a fraction? What is 30% as a fraction? Ashton? That's about 1/3. All right, 25%, we know that is 1/4. All right, what would 60% be as a fraction? Approximately. So these are approximate fractions. What would 60% be approximately as a fraction? You should know these. Colin? 3/5. Yeah, we could do that, but what's another one that's closer that we would know, hopefully? How about 2/3? Isn't that close to 2/3? 66% is 2/3. All right, if you guys take a look at page 199, this is going to help you with fraction equivalents. You need to know some fraction equivalents. All right, you guys cool with this? So when they say estimating, we're looking to turn our percentages into fractions to make our math easier. All right, you guys can go.